Hello and welcome once again to Straight Bat, my weekly video blog where, as the title suggests, I comment with a straight bat. Now, today I want to focus on a word that gets me really angry. Love jihad. It's the very coinage of this term that in a sense is an affront to any citizen's sensibility, because what it conveys, to me at least, is a deep hatred for minorities, especially Muslims, and the manner in particular in which this hatred that has seeped into the minds of many is being normalized. It's a term that in recent years was first coined by the leader of the Sri Ram Seni, a self-styled Hindu extremist group led by someone called Pramod Mutalik, mainly operated in coastal Karnataka and acquired fame, or rather notoriety, when a few years ago he and his followers attacked a pub in Mangalore where couples were eating and spending some time together. Now, let me also say that it's not just Pramod Mutalik. Yogi Adityanath, in his earlier avatar, before he became UP Chief Minister, headed another self-styled vigilante group called the Hindu Yuva Vahini. And that group too would target interfaith marriages, would disrupt them wherever they took place. So I'm not surprised, for example, when the Uttar Pradesh government last year brought in a law that effectively banned these kind of interfaith marriages by terming them love jihad, suggesting that they were being done as a ruse for conversion. And the entire structure of the law was, to my mind, clearly against jurisprudence, because it seemed to suggest that the onus was on the couple, the married couple, to prove that they had not got married under duress or coercion. It was almost as if love was being criminalized, and that's exactly what these laws have done. They have criminalized the act of two people falling in love with each other if they belong to different communities. To my mind, laws like this go against the very constitutional rights of freedom to practice your religion, right to life and liberty. Now, we've heard of vigilante groups in UP and other BJP-ruled states like Madhya Pradesh, and trust me, before the UP election, many such cases will come up, because it's a great way to play vote bank politics and divide communities on the grounds of religion. But this week, what we've seen is that the concept of love jihad has once again reared its head in the sensitive state, border state of Jammu and Kashmir. And this time, leading the vigilantism against the married couples is not just Hindu extremist groups, but Sikh groups who've now joined the chorus. Why? Because two Sikh girls married Muslim men in the valley. Now, as a result, suddenly, because they reportedly converted to Islam, these groups are all up in arms, and they are claiming that these girls were forcibly married and converted. This despite the fact that one of the girls filed an affidavit before the local magistrate saying she was marrying of her own free will. The other girl has even put out a video saying, in fact, she got married to her college sweetheart and did it in 2012. Why is she being targeted today? And both these girls, in a way, have become victims of this kind of campaign that has been carried out. One of them was forcibly taken away and has got married now to a Sikh boy. Her marriage was annulled. She's been married to a Sikh boy, taken away and brought to Delhi. The other girl is in hiding. One of the boys has been arrested. No one knows why. Now, this is where I believe that political groups in Delhi and Srinagar who have joined these protests have frankly no business to be there. I mean, look at it. The families say that they are worried that their girls have been forcibly taken away. Well, if they've been forcibly taken away, for God's sake, go to a court, file a case of abduction and kidnapping and prove it in a court of law. How can you put the onus on the couples to prove their case? And what are these political groups up to? There is a BJP leader, Sardar R.P. Singh. There's an Akali Dal leader, Maninder Singh Sirsa. They take out groups, surround, create protests in Srinagar and in Delhi, go and meet the Lieutenant Governor, go and meet the Home Ministry, claim that Sikhs are being converted to Islam. There's an election going on going to take place in Punjab, so an atmosphere is being created there also. Why? I want to understand, have any of these people, any of them, fact-checked with the girls what happened? Whose view should be taken? Should the views of politicians who are only doing it because it will give them some political clout, should their views be taken seriously? Or should the views of the girls who have actually got married? And if they say it was not under coercion, who are you and I or anyone else to intervene? You know, my belief is that this is where this concept of love jihad is so badly flawed, because it allows vigilantes to take over the law of this country and then claim that they are custodians of our religious identity. Let's be clear. This entire concept is flawed because it is built on the belief that the woman has no voice. It is misogynistic. It is almost as if the woman necessarily, if she marries a man from another community, especially Islam, she must have been forcibly converted. She has a mind of her own. These are women in their 20s, men in their 20s. Surely they, as free citizens, are allowed to have minds of their own. But no, our vigilante politicians have decided that they alone will decide whether this is love or whether this is love jihad. What utter rubbish. In my view, this entire concept is flawed, it is anti-constitution and is only a dog whistle to stir more communal passions in our society. Love, my friends, breaks barriers. An interfaith marriage should be celebrated. It should not be criminalized under any account unless you can prove it was kidnapping or abduction. Why should a young couple be thrown into jail because they have married by mutual consent, are in love with each other? And who is some local thanedar or constable or police officer to decide that this couple which has got married must have got married through coercion? How can we give such powers to police thanedars in cases like this? What to my mind is equally disturbing is the way the media narrative plays out. Look at the way the headlines have played out in this Jammu and Kashmir case, as if these couples are criminals and the politicians are saviors, are the moral guardians of society. We are simply playing into the hands of these vigilantes with such kind of primetime news warriors, my friends. Let me also tell you, my friends, interestingly, this is not the first such case of an interfaith marriage in the Kashmir Valley. Interestingly, way back in 1967, Parameshwari Handu, she was a sales representative there in the Apna Bazaar in Srinagar. She married a co-worker by the name of Ghulam Rasool Kant. She converted to Islam and took the name Parveen Akhtar. She came from a Kashmiri Pandit family and there was a lot of hue and cry and protests. But here is the good news. In 1967, at least, there was no concept of love jihad or laws being brought in of this kind. As a result, the couple was able to remain in love and live happily ever after. Maybe we have regressed, therefore, as a society from 1967 to 2021, where our laws are normalizing bigotry and hatred. Whereas I keep saying love is being criminalized. You know, in the famous film Mughal-e-Azam, there's the song, Pyar kiya to darna kya. Now we have to worry and say, Pyar kiya to daro. That's the difference in the times in which we live. By the way, last week our Prime Minister on the Jammu and Kashmir issue said, we need to bridge Dil ki Duri and Dilli se Duri. Very nice words, Mr. Prime Minister. So may I request you to ensure that in the Kashmir Valley, love is celebrated and not criminalized in this manner. Think about it. That was the Straight Pat. Do log on and subscribe to my YouTube channel for many more such videos. For now, Thanks for watching. Stay well, stay safe. Jai Hind.